Welcome to the Wellness Amazon podcast. This is a podcast for highly sensitive people, people that have high intuition and are just in tune with themselves and the outer world. Come and listen to multiple different high spectrum subjects and just peek behind the curtain. But I warn you, once you peek behind the curtain, you can never go back. Have fun. Enjoy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the Wellness Amazon podcast. Again, with my wonderful, I almost want to call you my sidekick, Anika, who has been on the show a couple of times and who is sharing her wisdom again with us today. And today's subject is HSPs in the workspace. We're probably going to dip a little bit into burnout. We're going to talk about working from home, working in an office, all of that stuff, because it's something you probably cannot avoid, and it's something that can be really challenging for people. So here we are. And before we start, this is your friendly reminder to relax your shoulders, breathe in your belly, relax your forehead and your jaw and your neck, because a lot of us keep holding their tension there. And here we go. Anika, welcome to the show once again.
Thank you for having me back. Always a pleasure.
I'm always happy when you're here.
No, me too. I could talk for hours with you. So it's just another day.
I know. We both, there's never a lack of talking material, ever. I think when we're both 95 years old, we're still going to do this. I know it. Yeah. So we have actually both worked together from home. It was a virtual job, and we worked as health coaches together and a wellness company. And you have worked probably in Germany before in more of an office setting. And you and me, our careers are very similar too. We're both health coaches for the Institute of Integrated Nutrition. You have worked in more of an office type thing in Germany before you had a child. Same with me. And then we both left Germany to follow the love of our lives into America. And then we started back up with a work from home job. So very, very similar. And we're going to talk about our experience and also the contrast between those two, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. How that experience was for you.
Yeah. So the awareness of being an HSP was not there for me really before I moved to the US. So back then, it's now everything is like in hindsight for me. But I had different work experiences. Like I would say anything between toxic work environment and toxic leadership, especially, to very autonomous, flat hierarchy type of work style, work environments. So, I mean, I really love both. I love, like, for me personally, I would thrive in a hybrid environment, like having the option to work from home whenever I want, but also having the option to go into an office for like 2-3 times a week or something like that would be the perfect scenario for me, because I do thrive with social contacts, which is the difficulty when you work remote, right? Everything is digital. The fatigue you get from just being on your computer for Zoom meetings and stuff like that all the time. So I really appreciate the in-office work, but it's also challenging when you cannot escape certain situations that you really cannot control. So yeah, there's a lot of challenges I had. And back then, because I was also pretty young back then, just didn't really know how to handle it. So it kind of accumulated, and then that can lead to burnout and, just overall unhappiness because you don't feel fulfilled with how things go. Because just think of it, like I always worked full time. So you spend 8 hours a day at least at your workspace. And it's just time that, you want to spend, have fun and have a good like just have good harmony
Mhm.
with people, with your work as well, which I mean, I don't mind. There's always situations where you have to hustle more and you know you have deadlines to meet. Like I like that as well. I like it as long as it's not a constant situation, which then drains you as well. Yeah, just in general. I mean, I don't like to always use that word, but like the balance of things.
Mhm. Yep.
And also, really, I feel like I don't know if it's always an HSP thing. I'm on the fence of it, but maybe it is to also have the guts to speak out when there are certain situations, you know, like to set the boundaries and to really speak up because I feel like you're most of the time more of a passive type of person when you're very sensitive because you also do want to avoid conflict. So that is challenging in an office environment for sure. Whereas when you work remote, I mean, it's still a challenge, but you do have your own space at least. You don't have to be confined to another place that's not your home or something like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what was your experience with that?
I could not agree more with you because, like what you just said about not wanting to rock the boat, I think that comes because HSPs, one of those trades is we feel the energy in the room, we feel the energy per person. And now, if I speak out and I rock the boat potentially, which by that time you probably know the people, you know what the reaction is going to be, you know what it's going to cost you. You know that you will now have to live with that new energy that you set in motion, and you start calculating, is it worth it or not, right? I've had a job in Germany in office that was the complete opposite of toxic. It was fantastic. It was a great team. Everybody was friendly. But also, that was during a time where nobody had a smartphone. I had a punch card, so I clock in when I go into the office and I clock out and I am done. There's nobody's going to call me. I don't have email. I don't have any. It's done. The work is done and I am now in my personal life, right? However, I now know looking back, the way I set up my workday was the first indicator in a little bit of navigating these HSP trades, which back then, just as you, I had no clue what an HSP is. I didn't know I was one. I just thought just a very sensitive person because I started super early. I started sometimes before 7 a.m.
I like that too.
Yeah, and the office was quiet and barely anyone was there. And I was the one, I was, turning everybody's computers on and making coffee for everybody. And that was my thing. And everybody knew that too. And I started to, book the bangs because I was an accountant. So by the time most of the other people came, a lot of stuff was done. And I also left really early, which was then the high buzzing time. So maybe I already knew back then it's better if you're not here when there is everybody here.
Yeah.
Um, then I had a job in office that was extremely toxic. And that's when I noticed that I'm even more aware of people's energies because it was so hurtful. It was so draining. It made me nauseous. Like I literally went to work with a belly ache every day. I never wished this on anyone. That was the worst thing. Really, that nausea walking into that building was just awful, was absolutely awful. And everybody had some hatred towards another person. Like there was all these weird group dynamics. So I was now constantly aware of everybody's body language towards the other person and their tone that they're speaking with them and the frustration and these, subtle things everywhere. And it was awful. I worked a lot for myself. When I went into the States, I worked as a substitute teacher for special ed children, which you would think that was very overwhelming, but it was, on one hand, was very demanding, but on the other hand, it was actually never overstimulating because you're in that smaller space with a disabled child and you are working with other people who are certified and all that stuff. It was because we shielded the child so much from overstimulation because they also are sensitive. It also shielded yourself. So that was actually a great environment to work in. And then starting, the same with you with that stay at work from home job for the wellness company was at first totally awesome. And, things changed, economy changed, everything was getting a little rough around the edges. And then it started to become later on very toxic. I think for me, the most toxic part was when I went into management because that was a whole nother world. But I cannot tell you because when you say you're in your own space at home, right? And that's at least that's that one thing you're hanging on to, at least I did. I had my desk, and right next to my desk was my yoga mat on the floor, and I laid on that thing after almost every meeting, completely depleted, thinking about all my life's choices, and I cannot tell you how many times I smudged my office after a workday where I'm like, bad juju, bad
Yeah.
juju, bad juju out, and that didn't do anything.
Yeah, I
It just kept going. So I do not think that it matters for me personally. I cannot speak for other people. I don't think it matters if you are in an office or if you're at home. I think what matters is the energy that you're receiving. And
Mhm.
that can be bad in either, that can be good in either.
Yeah,
Um, that's what I have noticed because when the energy is off, it's almost like you get even more sensitive to everything.
absolutely. Yeah, same here. Yeah, I mean, I felt the same way, especially because the job we were doing was also needing a lot of empathy from us, and it kind of got too much. Like I just didn't feel heard when I like asked for help or like was super depleted. And that is then that is a very challenging thing of being very sensitive and then just trying to be solution oriented with your workspace, and there's no openness to real solutions really. Yeah, that was a really hard challenge for sure. But I mean, I'm also very thankful for that experience because it taught me so much, and I met the most wonderful people like you, for example. So it was all worth it. But it is so important for HSPs to be able to set boundaries, to be in a work environment where people really are neutral as well, like not politicizing things, and we go just, things like that. So where everybody truly can be who they are and nobody takes themselves too seriously. So yeah, and those were all things in that workspace for sure that started to, what is the right word? That just, it went kind of downhill in that area. For me personally, that's just how my experience was. I just felt this is all very biased at some point, and I just don't like it because I don't want to change myself. I don't want to try to be someone else that I'm not. Yeah, and then at some point you just really have to think of, is this still the right thing for me? You know, what do they offer to me? So, which is of course why we're saying this is where we used to work.
Mhm.
But also then when you're in a situation, and I was back then in a situation where I couldn't just quit my job and then do nothing. Like I had bills to pay and all of that kind of stuff. So you just really have to just get through it. And I would have loved if that work environment would have hurt me more or us, and it could have been so great. That's the thing. It just could have been so great. Not the place for HSPs for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do wonder, like, looking back on it, like what type of person would thrive in that environment? I cannot really think of many, except of you're just this very like active male energy type of person that can take it.
Especially because I think it was a wellness company and you do hire people that made it their life choice to help people.
Mm-hmm.
No matter if you're a dietitian, a health coach, whatever, anyone in the wellness industry is there because I want to help people. It's very hard for people to then become lucrative in that kind of environment because you take time and you want to have that time for that person that you're working with. And that's not a given anymore now. You just have to be like, go, 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 number, this is a number. This is number one, two, three. You gotta go, you gotta be faster. Now it's becoming, first of all, depleting, like you just said with your empathy. Now you have to be somebody who you're not. And then it's the what is more important? Is it the quantity or the quality? And then
Exactly.
the answer was always, well, both, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I would say so too. Like that was where it shifted because at least when I started that job, it was not that way. It was really cool harmony and emphasis on quality. It just really then shifted, probably because of the economy and various reasons within the company. But yeah, when I have to compare it to the last job I had in Germany, it was like the complete opposite because there I had the opposite problem of there was not enough things to do. And that drives me insane too. Like I love working. I love to be productive and I thrive, especially like with numbers and data. That's just my thing. Precision work as well. And in like numbers situations. But when you have a job that is too cozy, uh,
Yeah.
that's a different type of thing. Like I felt tired because I didn't have enough stuff kind of to do. Like, it was not that, I don't know how to explain it. It was just really weird. I loved the job. Like, I loved the environment. There was zero toxicity. Also, because it was for the German government, the work benefits are just
Hmm.
absolutely insane. I mean, for example, I had over 30 days of vacation a year,
Hmm.
plus 3 days a month just time to take off. Like it was very, very employee oriented and really nice, but there was just not enough things to do. They were like, "Oh, don't stress," which is amazing, right? But kind of like when you're also feeling like I need to be productive to feel accomplished, as like I accomplished something. That's also a different type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I hear that a lot actually from people when they don't have enough to do at work and they're bored. They are very, very exhausted from that. That makes you
Mhm.
tired because, like what you
Yeah.
said, it's a weird contradicting thing, but your brain doesn't have
Yeah.
enough to do. And you wonder, what am I doing here? You know? Yeah, I had the same issue.
Have you ever worked in an open office environment, or were you always like in an enclosed room?
So the one where I worked as an accountant, it was a what we call a Großraumbüro in German, right? So it was that big space and it was just these small gray labyrinth looking kind of walls that separated everybody a little bit. But I shared a desk and then we were four people, sometimes five, depending on the part-time people that came in, that shared that corner, kind of that enclosed space where that, but as soon as I stood up, I could see the whole thing because it was just those small walls that separated us. So it was surprisingly not very loud because of these walls that separated it. But in the afternoon time, it was buzzing for sure. Yeah.
Which that for sure, like if you're an HSP, I would say it would be important if you're sensitive to that kind of like noise, if there is noise and buzz and
Mm.
all that, to have a more like enclosed office workplace. Because I had both as well, and for me the open office situation was, yeah, horrible. Like I just didn't like it. I didn't thrive in it. I really like to have the ability to close the door and like have quiet,
Hmm.
have it quiet. So yeah, but let's talk about also solutions, right? Like the low stimulation. Like if something overstimulates you, focus on low stimulation solutions. Just like I said, like the enclosed office, or having plans, having like what you said too. I love that, with the routine in the morning, just to make nice routines, to have breaks if you can have like small breaks and stuff like that. So that is very helpful. And the remote work situation as well, with Zoom meetings, just try to talk openly about, hey, I need like some time in between, or is this really so necessary sometimes? Because sometimes we all know there are meetings that are not really that necessary, or maybe you can arrange it where you have several things during the day to talk about. Maybe you can talk about it in one meeting, and except of like instead of 3 meetings or something like that. So yeah, that's all I can think of right now. That's really like, try to avoid overstimulation and set boundaries. And if you can't, if there's just no way out, then try to find other solutions that give you more wellness and ease. Yeah,
The world famous sentence, right? This could have been an email.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually studies, since you're talking about Zoom, there's studies that show that the way Zoom is set up, where you have all of these tiny little pictures of people and you see yourself and everybody's talking, is extremely unnatural for our brain and very unhealthy. You do not have to be an HSP in order to be overstimulated within 5 minutes of a Zoom meeting, because it's too much going on. Your brain and your eyes are trying to understand, why are there so many people like in my face? Because for your brain, these little tiny images so close from the computer, it's almost like 20 people are standing right in front of you in your own personal bubble. It's not good. And there is an image, I'm going to try to find this and blend this in when I edit this, is they did, and a coworker actually shared this back then with me. They did imaging of a brain and did meeting, no break, meeting, very short break, meeting. And then they did meeting, longer break, meeting, long, and you can see how red and inflamed and stressed that brain is in the first scenario, and how green yellow, the calmer colors it has in that color imaging of the brain in the second scenario, where there's longer breaks in between those meetings. And I remember when we were working for the same company, it was constant. Sometimes it was days where you had only meetings and you could barely go to the bathroom in between, or
Wow.
not drinking, not eating, not taking a breath, not even give your brain time to go from one subject to the other. Like, okay, right now I have a one-on-one with my supervisor, and the next meeting is a team meeting where we talk about a strategy. You need a shift,
Yeah.
Um,
And then eight
that will,
hours.
yeah, yeah. Well, and sometimes it went over 8 hours, So and of course, there's always exceptions to the rule, but I feel like that all the other jobs that I had before had better boundaries when it came to time, breaks, shifting. The brain just had more time, right? And then, like what you said, when it's constantly go, 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 go. You have to be productive, productive, productive.
I,
Yeah.
I also remember, I mean, which of course you have to deliver, of course, right? Like, you want to bring the company forward with your contribution. But I do feel like, especially the work environment we were in, there was always this, if you told someone, hey, this, can we like have a little bit of, balance here or something like that, and it was like, this is the startup environment. It was always the startup thing, even though the company existed for many years already, and it was always still the startup thing, and the startup thing, which, this is what you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it's just, okay, yeah, I signed up for it and I thrive in that as well, to be a go-getter, but not like every single day like
Mm-hmm.
that, not having breaks at all. Like, I feel like there has to be cyclical, which in normally it is cyclical, right? Like, you have your work, and then sometimes there might be periods where there's more need and things need to get done. But it became this thing where the expectations changed, because you did do it at some point, and then, okay, well, you can always do it. And for a wellness company, especially, it was very, very, I mean, it burned a lot of people out for sure. And everyone was talking about it, and nobody just wanted to see it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, and this is probably different for people in other countries, which I can only speak to Germany and probably Denmark, because my friend tells me a lot about this, and then America. Accommodations. That's a big word, right? In the workspace, accommodations sound fantastic. HR will put them on the table and say, yeah, you can get accommodations from your doctor if you have ADHD or whatever, right? You need to have something diagnosed in order to get accommodations. Getting these accommodations it's easier to jump through a hoop that's on fire. Okay. It is ridiculous in this type of, I don't even know if that's the healthcare system or if this is just a cultural thing. It's very hard to get accommodations, even for people that have on paper, a disability. It is very hard, very hard. That doesn't mean, I do want to encourage everybody who could go that route, do it. Just try it. Talk to your practitioner, see what you got to do. Ask HR, what do I have to do? Give me that paper to fill out. Usually they give you something, you got to print it out. You have to go take it to your physician. They need to do something with it. But there is things like longer breaks, more frequent breaks, noise canceling headphones, different environment with your setup, things, little tiny things you can tweak. What I do want to ask you is, well, I actually want to ask you a lot of things, but for now, when you talk about that extreme being so drained and just like, I've got nothing more to give. I'm at my point where not even that empathy and that compassion is gone, and it's hard for me to do my job. What were some other symptoms that you noticed during and after work that would show up where you knew, uh-oh, that's a warning sign?
Yeah. So during work, it was that my brain could not, literally couldn't do it anymore. Like I had to read, because we were coaching and it was like a text-based scenario. I had to read so much and had to give, because I'm very empathetic, I wanted to give, but at some point but then you still have to, of course, coach people. You want to be true to yourself as well. But I had to read, like I noticed I had to read so many times the same stuff, like because I couldn't retain any information. I couldn't retain any information anymore. So I became absolutely like it. That's the thing, like what bothers me so much with this, because I really wanted to be very productive, but at some point I just couldn't anymore because the company didn't give me balance, even though I gave them solutions, to deliver also in other aspects of our job.
Yeah.
But then it was shut down all the time. Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. That was so frustrating, because then you feel like, oh, I fail and I suck and I'm not good enough and I don't deliver, like I'm a bad worker or whatever. But it was out of my control and out of work. So I was actually, I'm a type of person. I'm pretty good at setting boundaries with how long I work, because I feel like, okay, well, I get paid for this many hours. So if I don't get paid overtime, which that company didn't pay overtime, I'm not doing overtime.
Mhm.
That's just me. Like I was always really good at setting that boundary for myself. And outside of work, I noticed sleep, like my sleep patterns changed. I was just not getting good rest, good deep sleep. I also noticed I couldn't really shut off. Like I couldn't really enjoy my weekends as much as I wanted to, because my mind was constantly trying to, okay, how can I get better? Because I felt like I'm failing. I'm not good, but now I know this is why this happened. So yeah, it's frustrating because I really wanted to have solutions. I had solutions, and when you just they don't get anywhere and nobody really works with you, it's just very toxic. Yeah. So, but those were my main things, just this not being able to shut up. I didn't really have physical symptoms because I know there's a lot of people that get physical symptoms, headaches and all this kind of stuff, or even like organ issues all of a sudden, right? Like I didn't have that, but because I also was fortunate then at some point to put an end to it, and I didn't have to suffer like for too long, let's say it that way. So, which it sounds weird to say I didn't have to suffer, but yeah, I mean, it felt just awful for me for a long time.
Call it what it is.
Yeah, I'm thinking if there was anything else. It's the same thing now with you, like with what you said with your meetings and the yoga mat. For me, it was like the company had once a week, or sometimes even twice a week, which was nice. I appreciated it a lot. Meditation sessions for like 10 minutes. And I went to every single one of them because I really needed that. Like the 10-minute thing to just relax was just absolutely amazing to me. So I really try to grab anything I could get to like nurture myself in some way to kind of like relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your breaking point when you pulled the plug?
My breaking point was that I had another attempt of having a solution for the situation with like finding a better balance of coaching and then having project work, which I really thrived in. Like I really thrived in the um, project work.
Mhm.
And it again wasn't hurt at all. Like instead, they even told me I have to do even more coaching. And that's just when it was like, no, I this is it. This is not going anywhere. I knew that, at that point, like this is just not going anywhere for me. So this is it now. Yeah, that was the point. Yeah. How was it for you? Hmm.
I'm telling you, you are my hero when you talk about this because exactly what you were saying about boundaries, I didn't have that. So I think where you pulled the plug was probably right at that verge where it would have manifested physically for you at some point, right? If you wouldn't have left. And I went all the way to that point because I think when you left, I was feeling almost there where you were, and then I thought maybe it was it was always the hope. It's almost like in a bad relationship where you're like, it's gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. And FYI for everybody listening, shortly after Anika left, those twice a week meditations were completely cut. There was none of this anymore. No
Oh,
yoga, no meditation, no nothing. There was no more. The only thing that we got was, well, they paid for counseling, which I think is like, it's great, but I also go to my counselor because of you.
yeah.
So I had all the physical manifestations, hair loss, severe hair loss,
Wow.
constantly sick. I had migraines 3 times a week. Sleep was almost non-existent. I thought I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I was living off of caffeine. There was actually a time where I switched over to energy drinks because I couldn't function anymore without them. Obviously, my mood was not pleasant to be around. Constant UTI infections, too, things like that. Ulcers. I got stomach ulcers
Wow.
from it. Yeah. When it was really bad, so periodically, sometimes in those really high stress phases that we had, I got rashes everywhere. So I thought, like, what is this? Is this like eczema or contact dermatitis? Why do I have like my skin's peeling off, Towards the end, because then when it started and the whole management thing, it just got progressively worse. Towards the end, I went to my physician and she did some tests and she said, well, it's not that you have a thyroid disease, but your thyroid and your brain are not working with each other. They're not communicating. The communication line is blocked, and that's a very, very common stress symptom. So stress will do that to your thyroid. And she checked my blood, and all of those deficiencies that I had was not fixable with supplements because they were stress related. And now, because I pulled the plug like you, just way too late, probably, right? It took almost, I would say, 10 months, because I'm almost at the year mark, and it took 10 months for my blood markers to be awesome. So now you can see that I am retaining that iron, I am retaining that vitamin D, I am retaining all of these things. All of these stress markers are down, right? The inflammation is down. All of these things, like I have proof, black and white, that, and she did diagnose me with burnout. I mean, there was no way around it. I have no more hair. My hair wasn't falling out. I have no rashes. I have no constant infections. I have no stomach pain anymore. I mean, I don't know if those ulcers will ever go away, but they're not bothering me anymore. Like all of these things are gone. And I mean, if you talk to my husband, he will say this is a night and day difference just living with you in the same house, because you are you again. You are the person that went into that job. Now you're back to that person. You're you again. You're not, like what you said, depleted. I have that patience for other people now. I have that empathy for other people. And something that you always tell me, be the authentic you. And I was not able to do that. And there's going to be, my next question for you too is going to be related to that, because I saw a post on LinkedIn a while ago, and I reshared it because it really touched me. It said that burnout is not necessarily the amount of work that you work, because people always think it's about too much work. That's not always the case. I think I had burnout because I had to be someone that I did not want to be, that I wasn't. I couldn't look in the mirror anymore. And I don't know if you've ever done the Brene Brown value assessment. There's a value assessment that some companies do. And my value was always the same one. It was always the number one, and it's integrity. Integrity is what you do when other people are not watching. And it's very important to me. And integrity also means that I'm being honest and I'm doing the things that I'm telling you I'm going to do. Right. And that was almost like taken away from me. I could not live that integrity anymore because you want me to, don't tell anyone this, and you can't do that, but you have to present it this way so that people buy it and stuff like
Fluff
that,
it up.
It was just, I was like, well, but that's a lie. And it's not, I'm not talking about customers. I'm talking about my own people, That is what burned me out. That is that was the last straw that I could not live with anymore, because I was losing my own personality. So my question to you is, some people argue with, oh, at work I have an alter ego. Do you believe that is healthy?
No, absolutely not. I mean, of course, there is people that are really, really high achievers, and they have a mission, and they do anything that it takes to complete that mission. And I really appreciate that. I think that also has to exist for sure. I mean, look at, for example, what Elon Musk does, all the stuff that he achieves. He's a high achiever. He just has this mission, and I'm sure that he pays a big price for that on his personal life, for sure. But that's his mission. And there's people out there that are that way. That it's just for them not an option to not suffer to get it in order to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Is it healthy? Probably not, but sometimes it's necessary, right? But I feel like if you have not signed up for it, because for example, I know if I would apply with one of his companies, I know this is an expectation that those companies have. And if I'm not cool with it, then I just, shouldn't apply. I shouldn't be surprised if that's a certain work environment that they ask for. Totally fine. Absolutely respect that. But in our situation, we did not sign up for that. We were kind of put in that situation after we were already in. And that is where it's like this deceiving thing that happened. So no, I don't think it's healthy at all to, because you're acting then at that point, and then like you said, you manifest things, or you even change as a person. I mean, there is so many talks as well about like how actors even like struggle with this a lot. Like people in Hollywood, it's like this whole thing that a lot of people say they're kind of crazy sometimes, because they always have to, you know, prepare for a certain role, prepare for a certain character, study those characters really deeply, but they also manifest often this type of environment. It's a real thing, like, because now you're getting into this whole consciousness topic, you know. I just don't think it's healthy at all to change who you are.
Yeah.
No, especially not like long term. And again, like, how much time do we spend at work?
Yeah.
So if it's something, you know, you work in theater or something like that and you play roles, okay, yeah, it's a play. But I don't know, still, it's interesting to me, this whole thing of how actors are affected by it negatively very often, and
Yeah.
drains them as well. So that would be an interesting conversation too, to have like an actor.
Yeah. Yeah. The outline starts to blur after a while, you know, where
Mm.
you're like, who am I? And who am I really? And how much of this am I taking on that I just, you know, played? And I think in the job, because I tried it, you know, like when I put this blazer on, I'm the boss now, you know, I got to do these things. But now it doesn't work that way. I think if you do this and you awake something that you have inside of you, like a side that you have that you just then enhance a little bit, you know, that could probably work. But if you, because I'm just thinking about it's Beyonce, who says her alter ego is, what is it? I think Sasha or whatever she calls her. So
Yeah,
when she goes
yeah,
on stage, she is, you know, somebody else. She's confident and whatnot. So she's channeling something that she has inside of her. You know, she's channeling very positive things, also to overcome maybe like stage fright and all of that stuff. But if you do this in a sense of you don't agree with what your alter ego has to do, your own
exactly.
you, your soul, your spirit, your mind, whatever you want to call your insides, your heart, is not really, would never do that, would never have to execute what this alter ego now has to do. That is where the toxicity comes in. You're betraying yourself.
For example, right, like you have to fire someone and you don't even agree with that, or like someone wants to fire someone but they make you do it for them. Those type of scenarios. That's, oh gosh, the energy around that is just, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, the
or
only,
like what you said with the carrots moving, the carrot's always moving. And now I'm the one who has to tell the person, oh, that's great. Yeah, you got the carrot, but we moved the carrot a little bit. So, you know, it's just things that I didn't even believe, things that I had to suffer because my own carrot moved. So I know how this person feels. And now I got to be the one who just, you need to create buy-in, you know, like but I don't believe in it. And then you have to literally be an actress, literally. You have to pretend that you are agreeing with this and you think that's fantastic in order to create that buy-in.
oh my gosh. I mean, I can tell you stories. I worked at one workplace once in Germany too. It was a that was the fashion industry. That's also a
Mm-hmm.
very interesting industry.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what happened there a lot? Like there was this thing of, because the owners were all male, and what I saw there at that workplace was that there was a lot of women that try to use, how do I say that right? The sexual aspects of being a woman in
Mm-hmm.
order to get ahead on a job, stuff like that. That's also something, like, I don't know if, I mean, my morals are just not that way that I could ever do that, but the sensitivity around that too, working with people like that would go that far, was very troubling to me, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's a tough world. I would say it's a it's an absolute blessing if you can find a good work environment where it's balanced out. I mean, they are out there. I know that. My husband, for example, is one of them who enjoys that. But it's like a lottery win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, I think when we talk about solutions, the most tricky situation is the energy part, that culture. If the culture is off and the energy is off, that is the hardest one to deal with because sites, noises, boundaries about work-life balance, all of those things you can probably tinker with. But the energy is something that you very, very hardly can, you cannot change other people and what they bring into the workspace. So when I worked in that toxic job in Germany, I had my own office. I could shut the door, but guess what? The door was right next to the boss, who was the most toxic person on this planet, probably. I mean, the ego didn't fit through the door, and he was a tyrant, was tyrannic. And every time I saw him pass my office, I would be like, I would
Yeah.
get like panic attacks almost, it was awful. Now I know back in the day, we didn't have that word anxiety in German. I don't know if we
No.
have that now, but now I know I had anxiety the entire day being next to his office. So that's the thing where you can't run away from that. You can't change that. So that is the hardest thing. I'm trying to think. I think the only thing that I ever did was, yeah, it was all the woo-woo stuff, really. You know, I was doing breathing exercises and imagining that glass bubble around me, that radiant bubble that would shield everybody's energy from me. I'm like, no, I'm in my peace here, even though I didn't have inner peace really, but I was trying not to let other people's energy come in. I was wearing all the dark crystal bracelets and amulets and whatnot to try to be like, deflecting. I made a spray. I made a spray that I made myself with like essential oils in it, where I'm like, okay, this is my aura protection spray now. And even if you
Yeah.
don't believe in it, just the sheer like the act of
You
doing it,
try, you try.
yeah, the ritual of doing that. It's like, okay, we say a little prayer now. I'm not letting it affect this. That was the only thing I could do. Did it help? It helped a
Hmm.
little bit, but not really in the long run. But yeah, like what you said, meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong. But at the end of the day, and I know we've talked about that before, you doing something you absolutely loathe is the first killer of your jing. When we talk about your
Hmm.
jing, that is your core energy that you have in traditional Chinese medicine. You're literally killing that.
Yeah.
And that's just,
Absolutely. I do think if you, even as an HSP, if you really do something, or get to do something that you absolutely love, I don't think that you can burn out from that, except of course the energy, of course, yeah, but that if you can, I think if you have a good work environment and you have this purposeful work of, you do what you love,
Mhm.
you can absolutely perform. Like HSPs 100% can perform really well and all that kind of stuff. Like yeah, I really, like, I don't want to say, that we need less work or something like that. It's just, there has to be this harmony,
Mhm.
that we thrive in, and that balance of not being overstimulated, but being able to be creative and precision work as well, right? Like, it's something that HSPs often really love. So, yeah, it's a big topic for sure. I mean, there's so much to talk about with this. And I wonder what the future will bring in a workplace.
Mhm.
I wonder how much it will change. I bet there's going to be amazing changes ahead. There was also already a lot of talks in different countries about the 4-day
Yes.
work week and how actually productivity went up.
Mhm.
Like it just makes more sense basically. So I love that kind of stuff, like that people really look into those type of solutions. And who knows, also with AI, who knows how everything will change. Maybe on a good side, we get to be more creative at some point, or we get to be more hands-on with things again, less technology maybe, because AI would do all of the technological things. So maybe
Mhm.
it will be actually in our favor. Who knows? I don't know. I'm always going back and forth on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, there's pro and cons. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I just got a newsletter, I think it was today, about that the biggest study ever held, and I think it was either Harvard or Cambridge, big university did this huge study over, I think over years or at least a year, about the 4-day work week. And they had over 150 companies participating. And almost everybody who participated, all the employees said, I am more productive, I do better work, I deliver amazing results, I also have better work-life balance, I'm happier, I'm never sick anymore. I mean, all these wonderful things, right? And over 90% of the companies that participated in the study are not going back to a 5-day work week. They say, this is amazing. We have seen so
Wow.
much improvement. Yep. Our people they work actually more because they're more productive. They don't have this like dead time where we've all had this where we stare at a screen because we have to read a message 15 times because our brain does not comprehend anymore what was going on. And these 4-day work week people are just more productive. They read something once and got it, because their brain has that downtime. So
Yeah.
I hope that revolutionizes at least some things. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for, having just better solutions, but for both parties, for employers and employees, because employers do not get all the benefits that they can if they just don't change things, if it's
Mhm.
not ideal for people. So 100%. I mean, just think of it, the place we used to work at, how much they could have gotten out of us if they really would have listened and
Mhm.
changed things a little bit. They could have gotten so much productivity and whatnot, good quality work, if they would have not drained us out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see it from both sides. I can see it from the business side where if something is not lucrative, it's not, but also you
Sure.
cannot charge someone that little money and then expect to have a personal health coach on your side. This is why people are paying health coaches so much money, because then you're here for me. You're listening to me. I am now your VIP, your VIP. I'm your number one. I'm going to take care of you 100%. I'm not going to coach 400 other people, right? So I have that time, but that comes at a cost, which is it's not that high if you translate it to like an hourly pay. And having a job is an exchange of I want you to do that and this is what I pay you for. But if this is what I want you to do constantly changes, right? And you're like, that's not what I signed up for this. If you want me to do that, I need more pay. And then that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Employers need to understand that, again, famous words, it's cheaper to keep them. It is cheaper to keep someone instead of layoffs and then having to rehire and restructure. Those things cost money too. So it's sad, but I think if you are in a situation where we were, where it just unbearable, right? You need to get to a safer place before that even happens. Like, don't be like me. Don't have your hair fall out. Don't do that, please. Really set
Yeah.
time every day, every day. Hire someone, pay someone $100 to go over your resume, hire a resume coach, find someone you can confide in who is in your corner, who maybe writes a recommendation for you, letter of recommendation. Get out. get out. There
Mhm.
is in your horizon on what your, specialties are. There's hope. There's always hope. Some people might listen to this and be like, but Melina, it's not that easy. I know it is not. I know it's not. It's freaking hard, especially the tech sector right now is really hard to find jobs. Um, but man, your health is the greatest good you
That's the
have.
thing, right? That's the most important thing, really, that you got. I mean, if you screw that up, nobody, I mean, let's be honest, your workplace doesn't care. They just don't care. If you're gone, they're gonna replace you within 2 days. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's just the reality of things, for sure. Yeah, I'm all for it too. Like, if you don't find a solution within, look for something else. There's
Hmm.
gonna be a better place that's more fitting.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And do all those things we talked about. Do the yoga, do the qigong, do the tai chi, do the breathing exercises, do the meditation. Play around with what maybe is your jam. I would have never thought that qigong is my thing until I started doing it. I'm like, wow, that's like half an hour of meditation right there, right? Because it does get you a little bit in a meditative state too. Um, be active, treat yourself well. Don't let your boundaries
Yeah,
down, you know? Don't be like me and be like, oh, I'm just going to drink more energy drinks. No, girl, just go to sleep. You need to sleep, slap yourself a little bit. Get yourself out of that rut because it's not okay. If a friend would do that, what would you tell them? You would be like, why are you, no, don't,
exactly.
you know?
That's what I was just thinking of too. Like, talk to people where you know they do have a good work-life balance, and then ask them questions how their work environment is. And I'm sure you see patterns. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had those boundaries, but it was a learning curve, I
Yeah.
learned. So yeah,
That will probably never happen again to you. Yeah.
yeah. It
Yeah.
it was a rough, long lesson. One of those lessons that the universe, whatever you believe in as the higher divine energy gives you, and you think like, really, did it have to be that long? But also, would I have learned otherwise? Probably not. So I just had to go through that. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you feel better too and
me too.
recovered from that. Would you
Me
say
too.
you had completely recovered?
I would say I am at 80%, and I'm just saying 80% because I think those last 20, those are my internal beliefs that I have to shed, right? I'm still every once in a while that perfectionism comes out, that high performer, that I cannot deliver this if it's not perfect. It's still coming out. It's gotten a lot better. Or these expectation of myself too, right? That is still a problem, air quotes, but we're getting there. But also I have to say, for the last year, I have spent a lot of money and a lot of time and sweat and tears and I don't know what else into, I don't like the word self-help, but like, healing myself from the outside and the inside. Um that was a lot of work. I would have not give you an answer of 80% right now if I wouldn't have done all that stuff. So it's healing that takes a lot of time, but it does not come on its own. You got to do
No,
things for it.
a lot of work. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know people, they are burned out now for years, really. I mean, they just don't want to really invest that time and energy into the healing aspect of things. So it's just stuck with them. They're
Yeah.
still stuck with it.
Yeah. And I don't know how this is now in Germany because we both know in Germany the healthcare system is going down the drain as well. But when I worked in Germany, I knew people who had burnout. One was a man and one was a woman. And I'm telling you right now, you go to the doctor, you get diagnosed with burnout, they didn't go to work the next day. They did not go to work the next day. They got pulled
Mhm.
out immediately. healthcare kicks in, right? You still get it, it's almost like maternity leave, kind of, right? So you're not on the street immediately. No, 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 no. You go to rehab institutions, you get all of these things. They put you in a yoga group, they put you in a meditation class, they do all the things, right, to get you better. Here in America,
Massages as well,
yeah,
physical therapy.
all the things. Here in America, you get diagnosed with burnout. I got diagnosed with burnout. There was like, well, try to do, maybe some counseling. I am in counseling. Maybe some breathing exercise. Really? So you want me to heal from burnout while I'm doing the thing that gave me the
Yeah.
burnout? What is this?
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's a big difference, and because of in Germany, it's very, very employee oriented, which sucks for employers, of course, because there's a lot of employees that take so much advantage of the law. But yeah, for sure, that type of thing was very, I know so many people that went to like the rehab, for whatever they had, a shoulder issue or burnout or whatever it is. Even when you have headaches, they said they can send you to those. It's like a resort almost, where you get like
Mm-hmm.
physical therapy every day and swimming and yoga and all that. It's just for really, really healing, but paid by health insurance. I do wish they would do that here too, because I do think it's amazing. I mean, everyone that I know who has done it, they loved it and they really have benefited. Plus, they were able to go back to work faster as well.
Yeah.
Like because they felt better, and then of course you perform better as well, right? Like it's a give and take, I would say. But with the sick note in Germany, there's the sick note. So basically, when you're sick, you can go to the doctor. He gives you a sick note, which is at least a week,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they don't give you a sick note for like 2 days or something. They give you at least a week.
Yep.
And that doesn't exist here in the US as far as I know. So
Mm-hmm.
then you're sick, like, and you still get paid, and you get paid for 6 weeks. And after 6 weeks, if you're still sick, then health insurance pays you, but it's like 65% or something like that of your income. But there's a lot of people taking advantage of it, which is also
True.
not so nice. So
True.
but yeah, if you're overly sensitive, for sure it's great that you have this catch, like you have this net that catches you where you have the ability to recover,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. But of course, there's give and take. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely. So
I
let's
think
do a quick.
even in the US, there's even people that don't even get sick days, right?
I think, I
Sometimes
mean, we have everything here. We have companies that don't do any
everything. Yeah.
maternity leave. Yeah, no sick, no nothing. I know a lot of companies you have to earn it with just like
Mhm.
your off time, you have to earn it. In Germany, it doesn't matter how long you work somewhere. You have 30 days a year usually, which is
Mm.
here you get what? If you're lucky, you get 2 weeks if you're lucky. And a lot of time you have to earn that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You have to spend a lot of years to really earn more. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I do have to say, like, the pay is much better in the US.
That's true. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
also no ceiling. Yeah. It's definitely not the most friendly environment for HSPs when we talk about, the like what you said, the what catches you having a little bit of that wiggle room with sick days and all of that stuff is it's definitely harder. So you really need to have your boundaries. We had a podcast. If you didn't listen to the episode about boundaries and maybe implement that in your work because yeah, at the end of the day, what you said, that is your employer. They pay you for 8 hours. They're not paying you for any more. You need to take a break. Your brain needs breaks in between meetings and whatnot. You need to take care of yourself. You need to find that balance and sit down maybe on paper and write down what balance means for you because a lot of people, the balance is in balancing and then uphold that. It's really important.
Absolutely. Have your non-negotiables and stick to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Very
glad
important.
we both had that experience, and we have seen all the different aspects of jobs in different countries and different scenarios with, toxic, non-toxic, easy, hard, whatever you want to call it, and be able to share a little bit about that and really gain experiences with that. And I remember in the rough times crying on each other's shoulder too. So it's really important to have a friend network. It's really important to have a friend network.
Especially when you feel that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Very, very
grateful that
important.
I met you through all of this,
Me too.
So, yeah.
I do want to know, like in general, what do you think if you would have to estimate it? How many people, like if you have to estimate a percentage, how many people feel that way? I mean, do you think it's a small percentage, or do you think it's quite a bit?
From the memes and the GIFs and the whatever alone on social media, I think the percentage is quite high. Yeah.
Mm,
Especially in the corporate world. Everybody knows this is a game. Everybody knows about performance assessments. Everybody knows about, everybody's underpaid. Everybody talks about the same stuff and has the same opinions. People feel that way a lot. It's just that a lot of people are not vocal about it.
yeah,
Mhm.
just suffer in silence, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people they are in a boat where they do not have a choice at all. And I know people that also take advantage of the structure of work from home. So they have 3 different ones. They have 3 different work from home jobs, and they have 3 different laptops open, and they do here, 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 and they're trying to do this all. Do I think that's healthy? No. But if this is what you need to do to meet your bare minimum of surviving, then I get it. And that's what it is. But no, I think that there's a very small number probably of people that are truly, truly happy and fulfilled in their work. And if you are, and I'm talking about in the corporate world, if you are, then man, you're blessed. It's great, You
Yeah,
feel that gratitude about it. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Hold on to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Well, thank you so much for being on the show again, Anika, and really talking about this and reliving all of this a little bit with me and
Yeah.
being honest and vulnerable and, letting this all come back to the surface. And I think we both healed pretty well, right? Would you say that? You healed too?
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
We just,
Good.
it's also like about being true to yourself. Yeah, and just recalibrate basically. Yeah.
I think that you and I can agree on the feeling of finally saying no and saying, am done. I am leaving and shutting that laptop for the last time. I will never forget that feeling.
I know. Which is bittersweet, right? Because you wanted to work so badly. And I think nobody of us really wanted it to end that way, but if it has to, then it has to. And
Yeah.
what's coming after that is always, better because you are standing your ground. Very important too.
Yeah. The universe rewards courage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you also always told me that the universe is very fond of people that stand in their authenticity and that are authentic themselves. And I truly believe that. Yeah. Wise words from
Yeah,
Anika.
even though sometimes even I struggle with that. Yeah, I even struggle with that sometimes because of fear of, being judged and stuff like that. But it is true. If you're authentic, then that's like the most important thing to really be your true self. Nobody is like you. There's no other you.
Hmm. And everybody else is taken. So you don't try to be someone else too, Wise words. Wow. Well, I think we have a couple of episodes left in season 1, and then the HSP subject is slowly coming to an end. And then we're going to switch over to spirituality and all the woo-woo things. So I'm super excited about that. So if that's your jam, I hope you're looking forward to that too. Anything from manifestation, surrender, chakras, whatever, anything you can think about. So that's going to be exciting. I hope you're going to be back, Anika, because I know we have to talk about manifesting. So definitely. So,
Absolutely. I'd love to.
yeah. All right, y'all. Have a good day. Keep breathing. Keep doing your energy exercises, and write down what's work-life balance for you. So I hope this was somewhat helpful for everybody. Thank you for being on the show, Anika. It's a pleasure as always.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed. You can give it a thumbs up, you can give it a review, you can share it with somebody you think might resonate with this. Have a great day. See you next time.